What's going on, everyone? Scott here. Welcome back to the channel. So the college basketball season is finally here, tipping off on Monday across all leagues, across the sport, and it's going to be another wild year in college basketball. This is going to be a fairly quick video, just going over some of my preseason college basketball predictions. Going to go over my top 25 rankings going into the year. Then going to give my conference winners, player of the year pick, and then lastly, of course, my Final Four and National Championship pick. But before we do hop in, if you could, just hit that like and subscribe button down there for more college basketball content. I have a bunch of videos on the channel as well, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a video throughout the season. Now, let's just jump right into our top 25 rankings going into the year. Going to put the graphic up here on the screen. We'll go from 25 to 1. It's already on the screen, though. 25 UCLA coming in, first year in the Big Ten. I think they're going to have a fairly successful year coming in. 24 Illinois, even though they've lost quite a lot from last year's roster, I think Brad Underwood is still one of the better coaches in the Big Ten, and I think he'll have a good year there in Champaign. 23 Rutgers, have to respect the two big-time freshmen coming in, but I'm curious to see how the rest of the roster fills out around them throughout the season. 22 Kentucky, obviously new head coach Mark Pope in there, no longer John Calipari. Curious to see how that goes this year as well. 21 Ole Miss, 20 Cincinnati, 19 Marquette, 18 Texas, 17 Creighton, 16 Indiana, who has the best roster in the Big Ten. And curious to see, I think this is you make a second weekend Sweet 16 Elite 8 or Mike Woodson's gone. I mean, there's no reason with that roster that you should not be competing to go to Elite 8 Final Four with that roster. I got them at 16 to start the year. 15 Texas A&M, 14 Auburn, 13 Arkansas, John Calipari's new team. I think he's got a pretty good squad over there. 12 Purdue, obviously coming off the national championship game appearance. Lost a lot in Zach Edey, obviously, but Braden Smith, the best point guard for sure in the Big Ten, possibly best point guard in the country. Fletcher Loyer and, some of their pieces around them as well. They'll probably take a step back record-wise. Notice I don't have any Big Ten teams in the top 10, and I think that's evident of where the conference is this year. They'll take a step back. We'll have another video previewing the Big Ten, but as you can see, a little lower on the Big Ten this year, as most people are. 11, I got Rick Barnes and Tennessee. Number 10, Houston, always consistent. The last handful of years, they've gained that top 10 respect. Number 9, Arizona, Caleb Love, one of the best scorers in the country. Number 8, Gonzaga. 7, North Carolina, RJ Davis. I mean, they also just beat my Michigan State Spartans in the tournament last year pretty handily in the second round. RJ Davis is a stud, so gotta put them up there at 7. Baylor at 6. I really, really love the Jeremy Roach addition there. Good freshman as well, so I mean, Baylor, I think, is going to have a really good year. 5, Iowa State. Number 4, Duke. Obviously, Cooper Flagg, the freshman, coming in, all the hype. I think this is, this is for sure. Obviously, it's Duke. It's a Final Four roster, but you got to make a Final Four with Cooper Flagg in that roster. And honestly, if you don't make a Final Four in the next 2 years, even though you're recruiting incredibly well there in Durham, I think things could get a little hairy there. I don't who are you going to get if you were to replace Jon Scheyer? And that's not what I'm saying, to replace Jon Scheyer. I mean, obviously, he's recruited incredible. They've had incredible seasons. Since he's been there, they just haven't, got over the top yet. But I think the pressure could be starting to heat up, especially with these big-time recruiting classes. I mean, and it's Duke. They always have big-time recruiting classes, but with the talent in Cooper Flagg this year, the Boozer twins next year, I think they got to make a Final Four. 3, UConn. I think the roster takes a little bit of a step back, but Dan Hurley is still Dan Hurley. Have them at number 3. Number 2, Kansas. Obviously, you have senior citizen Hunter Dickinson coming back for his 20th season of college basketball. Bringing in AJ Storr, I think, will just be an even bigger help for Kansas going into the season. And number 1, I have Alabama. Mark Sears is an absolute stud. I love Nate Oates. I got them at number 1 coming into the season. So now we're going to go over my conference winners picks. A lot of this is kind of chalk, and it's chalk for a reason. Some of it's not, though, but a majority of this is chalk. I got Duke winning the ACC. I got Indiana pulling it out in the Big Ten, but this is the one. This is the not chalky one, and it's the one that I feel worse about. This could change by some real talk right here. I'm recording this on Friday the 1st. By the time the season tips off on Monday, I could have this being Purdue. I could have this. I honestly don't know. The Big Ten is just such a mess. I think it's 3 teams at the top, and then 4 through 16 are really up in the air. So this could change by Monday, but as of right now, I'm locking in Indiana. They have the best roster. We'll see if they can get it done. Big 12, I got Kansas. Big East, UConn, and SEC, I got Alabama winning it. Player of the year, I have Mark Sears from Alabama. So now to my final 4 picks. I have Alabama, Duke, UConn, I think they find a way to get there, and Baylor. National championship, I have Alabama over Baylor. So I got the Crimson Tide winning the national championship this season. Like I said, I think this is going to be a crazy year across the sport. You don't know, with so many people transferring, going here, there, whatever. No idea what these teams are going to look like. But as of right now, this is where I personally sit going into the year. So that'll do it for this one. As I said, we'll be back previewing the Big Ten, specifically basketball season. We'll also have on the channel this weekend, if it's not already up, a Michigan State basketball specific whole season overlook video, both men's and women's, and then, you know, a bunch of stuff on the channel. Excited basketball is back. Excited college basketball is back. But thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.